Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L here to talk about One Piece. It's been a while since I've actually talked about One Piece outside of the live streams, so I would love to talk about One Piece now. Now, originally, I was going to come in here and give you my predictions for 1096, but spoilers dropped earlier today, so kind of blew that up. It was quite a journey with the spoilers because initially people thought that it was fake because of the person that gave them out, but turns out it's pretty correct, and we pretty much have like the one guy I trust having his spoiler out, so we have a pretty good idea of what's happening in the chapter. I really want to talk about Egghead. I really want to, well, give my quick thoughts on Egghead and like what I'm kind of hoping for. But if you've already seen the spoilers, one question I want to ask you is like, who are you most excited to see, and like what idea in the spoilers or just in general in God Valley has you the most excited? Let me know down below. Anyway, let's read the spoilers real quick. The chapter title is Kumachi. That makes sense. That's probably something Ivankov calls him. That's fine. Cover story is Zoro is featured in it. Probably just a Zoro reader request. Okay, so the spoilers go. Ivankov and Kuma create a plan to escape God Valley by taking the Devil Fruit prizes from the Slave Hunt tournament and using them. Okay, so people were talking about this last week, that there were treasure chests and there's probably devil fruits in them. This is guaranteed to be where Kaido got his fruit from, so we're obviously going to see Big Mom grabbing that fruit at some point. One thing I want to say here is that in one of the earliest iterations of the spoilers, it mentioned that Ivankov already had his devil fruit, so just keep that in mind. The rock pirates come to God Valley and we see them, and Kaido. Garp is also sent there as well. There's another spoiler that clarifies this later. Okay. Here is like one of the most surprising details. Elder Neon is revealed to be a member of the Rocks Pirates. And apologies, I might be Elder Neon. I don't know how to pronounce these things, man. Anyway, she's there. That's really surprising. For a quick recap for those who don't know, Elder Neon, I feel bad saying that. Elder Neon, she left Amazon Lily because she fell in love with a man and she knows about love sickness. So, the fact that she's on this particular crew, it's like, well, the only thing you can think of is that whoever she was with is in this crew. So we have, again, just another, we continue the precedent of Amazon Lily Empresses being involved with really powerful people. Now, what I really see here is that, given that this girl was on that crew, honestly, I feel like Boa's legitimately should be, let her onto the Straw Hat crew, man. At the very least, put her in the Grand Fleet. This is a travesty that we do not have Boa in that crew yet, man. I still hold out hope, though. By the end, by the end in the final war, Boa's going to be there by Luffy's side, pretty much, or pretty much Team Luffy. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really neat. I'm surprised that she's involved there. Okay, among the prizes are Kaido's Devil Fruit and Kuma's Devil Fruit, and Ivankov and Kuma plan to take them to escape. Big Mom arrives and confronts Ivankov. She takes the devil fruit Ivankov held, Kaido's, but Kuma manages to eat his papa fruit and they meet Saturn. There's another detail about this one, just hold on for a second. We also see Roger's pirates with Roger having the straw hat with him. Now with the timeline here, I think we're 38 years ago. I have my note here. Anyway, yeah. We're pretty far back in the past. At this point, Shanks should still be a baby in a treasure chest and all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that Roger would still have the straw hat. Anyway, we don't see the whole God Valley incident. We only see the different factions arriving and skip to Sorbet Kingdom, in which Kuma, Ivankov, and Ginny escape to. So I gotta say here, I'm actually very happy with that. I'd rather this. I don't actually want to be in this flashback for a very long time. I felt really bad when we left in the first place. So I'm glad that they're doing this, and it makes sense to focus the flashback around what's going on with Kuma, because it's Kuma's flashback. All we're really learning is that God's Valley was the place to be at this particular point in time. Anyway, we had another little drop that told us what characters were going to be there. One of them was Captain John. This is the guy that Buggy was really interested in because of the treasure, and we know Captain John died. He's a zombie. Like, we saw him as a zombie during Thriller Bark. We have Wang Shi, which I think is the person that had Blackbeard's island before Blackbeard took him out. We have, of course, Elder Neon. We have Mrs. Buchan. We have Scopper, Roger, Big Mom, Kaido, Rayleigh, Bogard, Garp, Shiki, and Whitebeard. Okay, pretty cool names. Again, who are you most excited to see? Oh yeah, and Kong appears in this chapter as well. Anyway, continuing because we have more details. So Garp is there because Kong summoned Garp, who was on vacation, to God Valley. Garp has no idea what's happening in God Valley, but he goes because he heard Roger may be on the move too. Ginny is an expert at stealing, and she used the Denmushi, so she leaked the Tenryubito's events to the pirates 2 weeks ago. That's why Ooh, that's why Rox and Roger Pirate came to God Valley. We can see some of the Holy Knights in the chapter. One prince-like young guy, a sexy woman, a girl with her eyes covered by her hat, and a guy with a gas mask. These guys should all be super old by now. After Kuma eats his fruit, he is stopped by Saturn, who is in human form but with dark flame and lightning effects. Kuma says, the world is not normal. Why is someone like you born to power while I was born as a slave? Technically, he was not born as a slave, just kind of put into slavery. Anyway, Kuma goes on to say a really cool line, if I have any power, I would use it to help people like Nika did, and then Saturn says that's why you must be erased. But suddenly the scene cuts away and we hear some dialogue, stop it Rox, and Rox says, don't get in my way, Roger. Really interesting little situation there. I do wonder what ultimately brought Rox there, other than just fury and rage, maybe. But really interesting that the guy showed up there. Kuma begins living with Ginny in Sorbet Kingdom. He chops wood and sells them like that old illustration in the SBS. In the last page of the chapter, Kuma and Ginny are eating and crying together in happiness. Kuma says Ginny has a big appetite. He uses a word similar to Bonnie's name. That's cute. You can kind of see where this is going. It's not Luffy's mom. Anyway, there we go. That was the spoilers. It's pretty much... I think this is a good thing. I don't want to be in a flashback chapter for 8 chapters when we have Bonnie about to be executed, right? It's just not my style. That said, I do think like next chapter probably is going to like wrap up Kuma's life and show his time with Bonnie. And then by the end of the chapter, I would say that we go back to the Straw Hat crew. But we'll have to see. Anyway. Yeah, really interesting spoilers. Overall with Egghead, I'm really enjoying it. That's why, you know, leaving it just feels... It's like, I don't really want to go. I've also realized I'm probably getting old, miserable, and I'm probably just tired because like everyone got really sad about that that flashback that we got in the previous chapter of Kuma's flashback, and seeing how his dad was executed just for trying to like cheer up his son, and how his mom died over like during this period of enslavement. It's like, yeah, no, this is really sad. But for me, I already know these guys are dicks. It's like, there's no more room for me to dislike the Tenryubito. I'm just not there. So, you know, I felt kind of bad that I wasn't on the same wavelength as the majority of the fandom. But still, I can appreciate that it was very sad. But overall, it's just, there's so many things going on in the current timeline that I really don't want to take time away from it. Speaking of the current timeline, and we're going to talk about a prediction. I think there's so many elements at play at Egghead right now with the way that Bonnie's about to be executed. You even have Saturn there inviting Fate to like do something to save these guys, because it's like, I know you people are kind of special. I kind of want to see what's going to go down. I appreciate that from him. I appreciate that he's actively just, I want to see if you guys are going to survive this one. But honestly, with the way that Bonnie's being held up, everyone's aiming at her head. It's like, yeah, something's going to save her. Like, you have the robot that's lighting up, you have Kuma who is flying there, and you have Luffy who is like one heartbeat away from like reviving himself. If Bonnie starts singing the Drums of Liberation as just a last thing she does to like comfort herself before she's probably killed, that could be enough to bring Luffy back. You never really know with these kind of things. The thing here though is that the Straw Hats are surrounded by a few of the Vice Admirals as well. And I just don't think there's enough firepower down there to be able to protect Vegapunk while also fighting some of those Vice Admirals. So whatever's going to happen, I think it has to cause a regroup. We have to regroup and go somewhere else and then continue on the fights and all that kind of stuff. I still think that, you know, the big event that's going to happen is probably Saturn being defeated. And that's going to send ripples throughout the whole world. If he gets killed, that's going to be a whole other thing. Like, that would be wow. If Bonnie's the one to do it, wow. If Kuma's the one to do it, well, with the flashback that we're getting in the spoilers, that might be poetic justice there. Anyway, I also wonder if Kuma's memories are going to go back into the Kuma cyborg and restore him to some degree, but then restore him only so he can sacrifice himself. I don't know about that one. Anyway, interesting stuff. I hope we only have one more chapter of the flashback, though, because I kind of want to see what's going to happen next in the current timeline. As for the Rox flashback, overall, I feel this is going to be something that's pieced together over time. So I'm not even upset that we didn't get all of it here. I think it's like the most reasonable thing is to say like, yeah, he's going to piece this together over time. Guys, let me know what you thought down below. Again, let me know what character you're most excited about seeing. And what do you feel about the flashback? Did you wish it was longer? Do you want to be in there longer? Of course, I can understand if you wanted to see the whole flashback, because that's just exciting. One person that wasn't mentioned there was Dragon, but Dragon probably showed up there. He somehow probably got there somehow, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, guys, let me know down below what you thought, and till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.